What's up, everybody? Welcome to World at War Comics. Super excited to have Mr. Wayshak on the program. Wayshak, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. It's good to see you. Good to have you back. I think the last time you were on, we had you and Rodney on, and we were talking Florence and Normandy when that came out, the graphic novel, which also is absolutely fabulous. Both you and I were just talking before we hit the live button. Growing up in California, in Southern California, like I know those areas really well. Nobody goes to them, but
yeah,
especially like in the 80s and 90s. But man, what a great title, man. But outside of that, man, how have you been?
I've been good. I mean, I've still been working, kind of getting things done, wrapping up projects finally, and talking to some people about some new ones, which I'm looking forward to. So hopefully we can get some things rolling. But yeah, just kind of enjoying a little bit of time off. Actually, today is my first evening off in a long time.
Well, thank you for wasting your evening with me, man. That means a lot to me, bro. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope you don't hear my cat either. My cat has a thing whenever I get on mic, she starts meowing, and
that's all good, man. We all have. I have a dog that does kind of the same thing. I have to close the door.
Okay.
Right on top of me, man. But we all have our pets, bro. It's all good, man. All good. Well, let's jump in, man. You've been like super busy. Like I said, you had that amazing graphic novel with Rodney Barnes. I know you've been doing some crazy ass covers on Philadelphia and Spawn, and obviously you had the Violator series, which was really popular. I think a lot of Spawn fans are hoping that you return to that because your art has been incredible. And then I would love to talk a little bit about Bad Idea, how you got on Cul-De-Sac. Dude, this title has been fire. I was before we got on, I remember I was with Bad Idea like 2 years ago. I did some interviews with some of the guys at San Diego Comic-Con. And I remember this title was going to be like 4 issues, but I think just because of how popular it was, they kind of pushed a couple extra issues in there. I don't know if that's correct. Google never lies, but that's what I read.
that's kind of, oh, I'm sorry. But I was going to say, yeah, that's kind of what happened. It was originally supposed to be 4, and then issue 5 got tagged on later on. That was just because the response from people we were showing it to, thankfully, people were accepting of and were enjoying the chances I was taking with the book. And issue 6 is the same thing. The book was doing well, and we wanted to expand on the end. So, why not do another issue? Put a little bit of pretty pages in there and end it with style,
Well, pretty pages is an understatement, Wayshak. I mean, you're talking, bro. I mean, like that amount of talent should not be in one human being. Some of the stuff that you're doing is just like the creatures that you're creating, just phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal, man. I was just sharing with you that one spread. And of course, I can't find it right when I start talking about it, but dude, it is incredible. Like I could stare at the page and it takes me about 10 minutes to see everything. I'm not sure if I'm finding everything, but there's so much, here it is, so much to look at, man. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Thanks, man. And I think the newsprint actually helps quite a bit on it as well. I remember Bad Idea printed a preview that we had at one of the shows. I forget what show it was, but they printed on newsprint. I actually don't know why they did that, but I loved it. I mean, it just looked cool. I mean, so I don't know. And we put it out there, and it seems like people seem to be enjoying it as well. I mean, when you print on newsprint, there's always like a de-resolution. There's always like a loss of like some sharpness and things like that. But I think that's part of the charm of it as well.
I mean, I'm 50 years old. All my comic books were on newsprint growing up. It gives me like a really cool feel of nostalgia. You could smell the paper. I don't think it takes away anything that you're doing. Like the detail on some of the creatures is crazy, man. Just absolutely. Look at that face, bro.
I think newsprint, because I always wonder about it. I've been thinking about it quite a bit because I have like so many books on newsprint that when I see them printed on the premium paper, I mean the art's still great, but there's some kind of disconnect, and I always felt like maybe the newsprint, maybe some of the bleed and the softening of the edges kind of makes it more organic. I don't know exactly what it is, because like a good example is I have Superman versus Muhammad Ali, which is one of the most beautifully drawn comics in history. And I have the original and I have the reprint on like the really nice paper and everything, and both look great. But I like the newsprint because the newsprint one's so old too, so it's like yellowing. The blacks are brown at this point, you know. And yeah, I can't figure out if it's nostalgia or if it just looks better. I guess that's this is the long-winded way of saying that.
I think it's a little bit of both, man. I think if you're buying some of the older comics and you see it on newsprint and you grew up in that era, it would be, I mean, just awesome to re-see it again like that. It does have a nostalgic feel, but I feel like your art style and then everything that's happening within this title just works perfect on newsprint, man. It's been a lot of fun to read, and I'm so happy that this title has done so well and has pushed into a couple extra issues. I obviously don't know how it's going to end, but I'm hoping it ends in a way where there's like a little bit of a window that maybe we could come back for another 4 or 6 part series next year. I think that would be like Dinesh is awesome. And I'm hoping that he green lights it with you and Mike Carey. I mean, you're also on a title with a kind of a legend and Mike Carey, which is pretty awesome. You two together have been incredible.
I mean, it was such a just tight, efficient script, like nothing
Yeah.
wasted, but everything happened for a reason. But he also remembered to have the impact pages and the impact pieces within the book, which sometimes I think people can forget. So I think it's like a great little charming I don't know, kids adventure. I mean, it's violent. See, it's violent, but to me, it's like a kids adventure more than anything like that. It's hard to say it's violence, but it's kind of a stylized violence. You know, to me, it's like a Jack Davis EC kind of violence to it.
For sure.
Because Jack Davis is a big influence on me, and that's a one that most people don't see. Because I consider myself a cartoonist, not an illustrator, not a comic book artist. And it's funny because someone picked out another influence of mine the other day. I was having coffee with Tim Vigil, and he goes, "I see a lot of Chuck Jones in you," which is it's there. Normally, nobody sees that, so that was an interesting one.
That's pretty awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, it all comes through Wayshak, and I would love to kind of get through some of the character development because there are so many like unique characters that all kind of have their the one element that makes them unique, man. But it, like Gail obviously is probably one of the fan favorites that I could see so far. Can you kind of walk through that collaboration between you and Mike and the development of these characters and what do you like? What's the process that you take when you get a script and you have to create a character that's within the script? Like, how do you define that in art? How does that all come out like that?
Well, I was kind of left. Mike clearly defined what he wanted of the characters, but he also wanted my interpretation. So I did my interpretation and my spin on the characters. And it's I wish I was more thought out, but I'm not. I kind of draw. I did like a bunch of sketches and I kind of gravitated towards a certain style. And if it happens kind of naturally, I kind of just go with it. Whereas really I should be doing all kinds of like sketches, but I kind of just I still like, and even in the pages, I try to work very much instinctually, and I approach doing the characters the same way, you know. And I draw characters that I like to draw, that have aspects I like to draw, you know, whether they're wearing flannel or there's a mohawk, whatever. It's things I like. So as long as am able to put myself into the characters, it makes them easier to bring to life.
That's incredible, man. It definitely works. Do you have a favorite character that you like to draw within the first 5 issues so far?
Yeah, I like Callum. Am I saying
Callum
this?
is
Yeah. Callum is I like him. Like I actually would love to do a short story with Callum because it's interesting. He's like a kid, but he's trying to like he's kind of the realist of the group.
yeah,
And he understands that there's solutions. They're not going to be pretty solutions, but they're solutions. And that's it's just interesting to me because he's a kid like on that verge of
yeah.
on that road to becoming an adult, more so I think than the other characters. So I think he's fascinating, but I also think he runs the most risk of getting into trouble as well with that attitude. So I think that's why he kind of interests me.
Is there any of the characters that Mike has written that you relate to the most, or is that still Callum?
It's probably
Like in
Callum.
your personal life?
Yeah, it's probably Callum, just because I'd like to think I'm somewhat pragmatic, I think. I don't know. I don't know how pragmatic I am. I'm a cartoonist for a living, so you can't be that, well grounded to do that. But, I think he's kind of where I lie.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Chris, my buddy Chris has a pretty cool question. What is the music influences that you have? And do you listen to anything while you create? Some artists like to have music on while they're drawing. Some want it really quiet because they can concentrate better. What's your kind of style and what kind of music is it?
Yeah. Well, lately, I've been not watching. It switches between music. It used to be when I was young, it was all music all day, and it was like really loud, and it was like obnoxious to my neighbors. Kind of not so much now. I'm listening to like I have movies on, movies I've already seen, so I won't. It's more like background noise. Same thing with like these YouTube videos, this stupid like drama content or whatever it is. It actually doesn't matter really. A lot of it's like MMA kind of stuff, like straight up YouTube's garbage. But like there's this one guy, I'm just gonna give him, I don't know the guy or anything.
Yeah.
Napoleon Blown Apart. He does like these great MMA like essays about like pride and like Fedor and
Oh
like
yeah.
the lineal heavyweight, and those are actually my favorite things to listen to. Outside of that, this one in particular, I've been listening to a lot of Deaf Heaven on this one. They're a band that's pretty well known now from San Francisco. I saw them in a bar there a long time ago when they just had a demo cassette. And Brutus, just kind of like I don't know what you call it. It's like ambient metal, I guess. They don't sing that much or they just scream. It's more about like just zoning out,
Mhm.
And then old school like DJ Crush. I've been getting back into DJ Crush again.
That's awesome, man. What kind of influences growing up what kind of influences have you taken into your art? Like and we were talking about San Jose. I was in San Bernardino. Like, is there something that as you're going through high school, junior high, that kind of helped you or gear you toward the style of art that you have today?
Yeah, well, with Cul-De-Sac
Mhm.
especially because Cul-De-Sac I was given free reign, like visually, to just do whatever I want to do. And as you can see, it gets like kind of cartoony and exaggerated. And that was very much influenced by Saturday morning cartoons because before I even got into comic books, because comics are not a thing in my household when I grew up. I got
Okay.
into comics like kind of late, like 10, 11, 12. I consider that kind of late. And so Saturday morning cartoons was always my biggest influence. So I think stylistically, when you see how the characters are designed and even some of the action, it goes back to those Saturday morning cartoons. And and I'm just talking purely stylistically, in terms of like, I guess anatomy and things like that. Like big influence on me in general
Mhm.
is Star Blazers in terms of how I draw characters.
Yeah.
And that would probably be hard to see, but a lot of a lot of the dynamics come from that show.
Mhm.
That show left a huge impression on me as a kid.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's some, not all, like once in a while I'll look at your art and it kind of gives me Boondocks a little bit as well, because Boondocks incredible art, but it is kind of a cartoonish style. And I love the series when it came out. I thought it was pretty awesome, but I don't know if you've ever watched that or checked that out before.
Well, I do like comic strip art a lot. That was another big deal when I was growing up. So um, I like Bloom County a lot. If you remember that comic strip,
Oh, which one's that one?
that
Bloom?
comic strip was with the Penguin. It was called Outland later on. It was like a pseudo political satire, whatever, but it wasn't like serious political satire. It was like more like statements on society as well. But it was very loosely drawn, very exaggerated. Um, I could see some of that creeping in because that was one of my favorite comic strips. Like I love comic strips. I love single panel stuff like that. It's funny. The stuff people think I like, I actually don't care for. But like I like one of the most brilliant cartoonists ever on a visual level that I love, and I will never have the skill level of, is Hank Ketchum and Dennis the Menace.
Uh,
Dennis the Menace is so beautifully drawn. Nobody draws like that.
so have you developed your own comic strip? And have you ever
No.
thought about trying to see if you can't get something published? in comic strip form, just because of that medium being such a cool medium for you?
No, I want to. I think about it every so often. Um, but I find the format restricting in terms of the 4-panel layout, whatever. I don't see without newspapers and things like that, I don't see any reason to do that format. So I don't see
That's
myself ever doing that. Like even Bill Watterson and Calvin and Hobbes, when he had the chance, he broke format on those
true.
later Sundays.
Yeah.
The format's pretty restricted. The format exists just for technical reasons to put in a newspaper. It doesn't exist on any artistic level.
That's for sure. I mean, extremely restricting. Like to tell a story in just 3 or 4 panels, that's like crazy hard, I would think. To do something, especially on the daily or however often they're doing it now. I haven't read a newspaper in many years, but I don't even know if they still do that. But growing up, I got into it. Obviously, like Garfield and Heathcliff and stuff like that, I really enjoyed, and Popeye. But man, to be able to tell a story in such a short amount of panels, it's got to be difficult. And some of them are coming out daily.
Yeah, and I mean, when you have the high watermark of somebody like Milton Caniff,
Mm.
you're just like, what can I add to that? There isn't much more I can add to that. So I've always been about doing my own thing,
Yeah.
which is why I'm happy with Cul-De-Sac the way it is. I'm not trying to compete. I'm not trying to be better than these guys. I'm just trying to do my own thing, and maybe that's why I don't think about those kind of things so much.
I, I don't know if you feel this way, but as an artist, a lot of artists that I've noticed, obviously they take from a lot of people that they grew up reading, whether it's Todd McFarlane, Silvestri, Jim Lee. I feel like when I look at your art without your name on it, I know who it's from. Like I could tell a Wayshak piece of art, which is very unique just to you and your style. And I think that's really hard to do as an artist sometimes, especially in comic books, because you're most of them are doing like superheroes, and a lot of them do need to look fairly similar. They all have their own, like a Ryan Otley, you're going to be able to tell because he has more box style figures. But yours is so unique, Wayshak. I don't know if, like, I think that's really cool about you. I don't know if you look at that and you're really proud that you have a unique style that anytime someone sees it, they could kind of say, oh, that's got to be a Wayshak that looks dead like his art.
Well, I hope so. I mean, I'm trying to be unique with what I'm doing. A lot of it has to do with I'm probably not the most technically proficient artist. And as a kid, I was very stubborn to a fault. So I kind of had to find my own way of doing things, not because I didn't have opportunities to learn. I was just, a dipshit kid, and I should have listened, but I didn't. But no, so I just try and do my own thing. A lot of this all comes from, and I've said it before, so people are probably getting sick of saying it, but it all comes from like when I was exposed to Baron Story's
Mm.
artwork when I was like 15 or 16. And when I saw what he did, which was basically sketchbooks and journals, and he was able to have a narrative with Marat Desad, which was published by Tundra. And even before that, I saw photocopied comics he did before for his comic book class in college. And they're just like pen and ink sketches of him. I remember there's one specifically, I'm trying to buy it. I'm trying to find it. It's just a pen and ink sketch of him talking about life over at Chevy's, looking at his burrito. But it was like this beautifully crosshatched thing with like some, you know, ballpoint pen you get at a grocery store. And once I saw that, I realized there was more, there's more to it. You know, I just need to understand there's more. And once I realized there was more to this, there's more to comics than just big buff guys or like science fiction or barbarians or even I love Dan Clowes, but even the Dan Clowes 8 Ball. When I understood that the comics can go anywhere, once I understood that, I really became interested in doing my own thing. And my photocopied zines were not good, but they were wild. Nobody would publish them, but it was a learning process. I think about self-publishing them myself, and I was like, I don't think I want to put these back out there. But yeah, Baron's the reason why all of this. Baron and my teacher Cameron Wasson,
Yeah.
because she encouraged me to do this when literally nobody else was, and sometimes you just need that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like you need kind of that freedom the characters that you draw, I don't know, man. I feel like if you were to give a bunch of artists just a Bic ballpoint pen and said, do your thing, no one's touching you, Wayshak, with a ballpoint pen, man. I feel like your art is perfect. I don't know if you just play around with just like a regular ballpoint pen and do a lot of art that way as well, but I think you you would destroy anybody one-on-one just with a ballpoint pen. Your art favors that, I feel like.
There are a lot of guys way better than me, man. So I don't know about that, but you know, it's I think it was a Robert Williams quote I read when I was a kid. It was something along the lines of, either he can, or he's like, you should be able to draw with anything you get at a grocery store. And I do feel like I can do that. So
Yeah,
I guess I'm at least at that level of proficiency.
I
I can
think
get some, I can go get some shitty pen at the grocery store and draw on cardboard or something. Hopefully.
I think you'd be all right, man. I definitely think so, man. So we got Cul-De-Sac issue 6 coming out in January. That will be the end of this arc. We'll see what happens. I'm hoping that both you and Mike return for a second season, because it has been like a super fun kind of a family slash Goonies slash horror slash a bunch of different things all brought into one, but it's super fast paced. And I absolutely love it. And I love that although it has all these elements, there's this violent side to it too, which I absolutely enjoy. I'm hoping that we get another season of this. But outside of like Cul-De-Sac, obviously you had the Violator series, which was awesome. I'm hoping that you, obviously you're still doing some covers and stuff, I believe, for Spawn. I thought I saw you're doing issue 2 of I Saw Santa. You have a cover coming for that as well?
Yeah, I just did a cover for I Saw Santa, and I think that comes out December 24th. I
Yeah,
think
it
that's when that
does.
comes out.
Yeah.
And that was fun. I never thought I'd be drawing a Spawn cover without Spawn. And I what I really like about that cover is I got like really cartoony and really kind of ridiculous. That's almost like a Warner Brothers cartoon, and they're like, cool, and they ran it. I was like, okay, that's cool. One of the cartooniest Spawn covers, but I'm happy with that. Um, but I would love to do more Violator, especially.
Yeah.
Violator makes sense to me.
Mhm.
It's you know, he's the Bugs Bunny of that whole universe, so that's why he interests me.
He's the Bugs Bunny of it.
Yeah.
I love it. Let me just show everybody your cover for I Saw Santa, because that will be coming out in a couple weeks, and it is everything that you would want from a Wayshak cover. Pretty damn dope.
It was fun. I think Santa's the best part on it.
Yeah, for sure. So cool, man. And that's a crazy title too, man. It's been a lot of fun to read. I wish it was more than just 2, but maybe we'll get like 2 every year or something for the next few years. That'd be kind of fun just to return to it and see what hell this kid has put Santa through, and he have more flashbacks of all the crazy crap that's gone on. But that was a lot of fun. But yeah, the covers are pretty dope as well.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, I assume that'll be like a yearly thing, right? It seems like a fun project.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I enjoyed Florence and Normandy too. Yeah, it's a really good title, especially if you like grew up in that area. Like I remember the riots spread all over Southern California during that time. It was such a crazy, crazy ass time. But then the twist that Ronnie put and with your art in that, where they all have to come together to battle one thing, which you wish something like that happened, but yeah.
Yeah, Chris, I'm glad you enjoyed the book. That's awesome.
Yeah, you've probably seen some of Chris's stuff. Chris is a huge Spawn fan and been trying to pump up, getting ready for that Spawn movie. I know there's been a lot of delays, but we're all hopeful that in the next couple of years we'll start to see something happen. But yeah, Chris is a good dude, man.
Has there been an announcement on?
I think there's every time Todd does an interview, it's one of the first questions is asked of him. And I think there's starting to become a little bit of frustration because there's been a lot of delays around it. Again, a lot of it's out of his control. They had Jamie Foxx was brought on to play Al Simmons. And then, he went through that whole health scare for a while, which put a lot of delays. And I think Blumhouse, that pushed them starting on Spawn because they have other things that they have to get out. So I just think there's been a lot of delays and a lot of frustration. So I watched several interviews with Todd, and you could just see his whole face change when he's asked about it. He's like, dude, I don't even want to talk about it anymore because every time I say it's coming, there's another delay. So I think he's just like, I don't want to lead you guys on anymore, but it's definitely happening and Blumhouse is behind it.
Okay, I was just asking because I saw something on social media, like
Mhm.
briefly. So I thought something was announced or something, but I mean, you never even know at this point because there's so much fake like AI,
100%.
stuff all the time. At least on my feed. I don't know about everybody else's feed. There's a lot of junk on my feed.
Yeah. What's funny is like I'll see some like conspiracy theory and I'll look at it and then all of a sudden for like the next week I'm getting some crazy stuff on my feed. I'm like I should have never looked at that because now my whole feed has been messed up. I don't even have comic stuff on my feed anymore because I looked at that one post, man, and read it. So I don't know if
Yeah.
you go through that.
I don't know. I get some pretty gnarly stuff on my feed sometimes, like some pretty like extremely gnarly stuff. And I've asked bunch of my buddies, I'm like, you getting this stuff? And they go like, no, man. Like, what are you looking at? I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just getting like this really gnarly stuff. I don't know.
I think the algorithm is almost impossible to understand, man, because by the time you feel like, okay, I think I got it, they're constantly changing it because they want you to spend money and all that other stuff to push your stuff out. So I don't know.
Well,
It's
is it,
it's a racket, bro. Someone's getting rich.
well, it's funny because I actually had a discussion with Instagram like maybe like a year or two ago.
Hmm.
They were talking to me about some stuff, and I straight up asked the rep. I was like, "So what's up with the algorithm, man? Like, what's the deal?" And he gave me a little bit of advice, but he goes, "Really?" He's like, "We don't know either." He goes, "They're changing it all the time, you know." So he's like, he goes, "We don't exactly know ourselves." He's like, "All you can do is offer suggestions." So I was like, "Cool, man," you know.
Great business model. I love it.
Yeah.
So are you? Oh yeah, I eat your loathing as Chris. So if you see him, man, give him a follow. He's pretty awesome.
Okay, cool.
Big Spawn dude, man. I don't know what you're allowed to share, but do you have anything coming up that fans could expect in the first half of the year that you're able to talk about?
Um, I'm in the
Careful
January
though. Be
issue.
careful, Wayshak. I don't want to get you in trouble, man.
I'm in the January issue of Metal Hurlant. That's coming out. I have a short story in that. That's the French. That's in France.
Okay,
Um, Dust Bunny just is in theaters this week.
nice.
That's the film by Brian Fuller, and I did like some early creature designs on the Dust Bunny, or on the monster in the movie. So that's in theaters. That's out right now. Yeah, right now I think everything's just kind of wrapping up. Yeah, nothing else that's announced. But you'll probably hear about things in like the next, probably next month. I think this year's pretty much over. I think everybody's on vacation at this point.
Exactly. No one's announcing nothing right now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
As far as like cons and stuff, Wayshak, do you have like a calendar for like the first few months of next year that you've already decided what cons you want to go to?
Well, I'm going to OAX in Florida.
Yeah.
That's at the end of February. That's
Hmm.
that's Comic Arts fans. That's their original art show,
Hmm.
which is a great show for your original art collector, and especially if you just want to see original art and you want to see a bunch of artists that you can actually talk to them. You actually have time to talk to them. It's nice. Even I get to talk to them because I don't get to talk to even people I know when I go to shows, honestly.
Really?
Um, but I'm doing that. I'm doing Seattle. I'm doing San Diego, of course. Those are all the for sures for now. Trying to get some other ones going. I really want to come back to New York. I had to miss New York this year, which was unfortunate, but I love going to New York just to go to New York. I love just hanging around the city.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a cool. I've never been to New York Comic Con, but I've been in New York a bunch for work, and so I always have fun when I'm in New York. But I got to get there during Comic Con because all my friends that go, they say, "Dude, it's so awesome. It's
It's a
different.
great show.
It's a great show. It's a very
Yeah.
comic book like centered show I've heard too. C2E2 is another one that's very comic book centric. Whereas like San Diego is awesome. I love going to San Diego, but you're competing from comic books with a lot of other things. So not every fan there is there for actually comics. A lot of them there for the movies, which is great, right? It's an awesome
Yeah.
show. But like C2E2, you go and it's almost all just comics. And I love that as a comic guy. And you get to really meet a lot of creators, which is a lot of fun. And then I heard New York is very similar. I don't know if you experienced that in New York.
Yeah, New York, I don't even see the show, honestly.
Yeah.
I think one year I didn't go and I just went as attendee. That was the only time, and it's a really nice show. They have some nice exhibits, but normally I'm in the artist alley, which is in the basement.
Yeah.
And it sounds horrible, but it's actually great. It's a totally separate area for the artists, and people go down there looking for you. And it's really nice. San Diego's great too, but San Diego, um, I get quite a bit of people come by and see me at San Diego too. Just about every show I go to it goes well for me in terms of like finding me and saying hi to people and things like that. I enjoy doing the shows. They're great for like just meeting people and chatting it up, meeting other artists.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, that's why I love going to them, man. I get to meet all you guys and talk to you all. I'd like to kind of just share your website too for people. Like if you want to see more Wayshak art and even get your hands on maybe some original art, it seems like it sells out extremely fast. But you do have a lot of stuff on there, which I absolutely love just checking out.
Yeah. Oh yeah, this is my store that's dead.
Oh, it's not working anymore?
No, it's working. It's just it's
Oh,
everything sold out. Um I've only had time to draw, so I haven't had time to deal with things like the store. I was trying to
gotcha.
update it for Christmas, but I will be. The best way to keep up with what I'm doing is Instagram,
Yeah.
which is Wayshak at Instagram. That's the best way to keep. That's where you can see all the new art, all the new projects, what's coming out, when it's coming out. But this store will be updated. It was supposed to be updated now, but for the Christmas season, but just didn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, I used to have somebody that could help me out, but he's busy now, which is good because he's actually doing really well. And he,
Good
he
for
goes, he goes, I can help you. I'm like, nah, man, it's no future in helping me. You do what you do. Go make money. you know. But yeah, the store will be updated. I'm hoping January maybe. I mean, I'll just say it. I'm gonna have all the books up. I'm gonna have like the different comic issues I have. Possibly T-shirts, not exactly sure, but I will have hand embellished prints of like the Lincoln Park print, the Godzilla vs Kong, blah blah. Hopefully January, but who knows at this
Yeah,
point.
that would be dope, man. And then as far as how you do your art, are you using like a tablet or are you doing traditional art on paper when you're turning in your pages for Cul-De-Sac?
It's all traditional. Earlier on, because Cul-de-sac was supposed to be black and white. It was
Hmm.
supposed to be a line art book, and then it turned into like a fully grayscale, kind of more experimental book. And funny enough, David Barron was coloring it, and he likes telling the story. He basically fired himself and says like have tells Dinesh have Wayshak paint it, and Dinesh like what great idea. I was like okay, so that's kind of where it came about. So I blamed David for that. But like so at first it was a black and white book, and then I was printing out the pages. That's about as digital as it gets. I was printing out the pages because I didn't want to ruin the originals, the black and white. So I was painting over those. So for the earlier part of it, there's actually two originals, the black and white and the painted original. But as I went on, um, I started just painting on the actual pages because my actual process when it comes to illustration, I do not like painting on top of photocopies.
Mm,
Like, it's a smarter thing to do because that way I have two pieces to sell, but I don't like that. I only do that. Whereas in Cul-de-sac's case, I wanted to keep the originals. Or if there's a case where I'm extremely pressed for time and I just have to be fast and I can't risk the original, you know. But normally about 90% of my work, I always paint on the original. So that's how most, probably like two-thirds of cul-de-sac is painted on, it's just pencils, inks, paint. It's one page, you know.
wow,
But the first, I think, one or one and a half or two issues, there are black and white originals for it still.
that's cool, man. Will you be putting up any pages of Cul-De-Sac, or are you going to keep those for your own collection?
I haven't decided yet, to be
Yeah.
honest. I sold the cover for number one,
Hmm.
and yeah, I think yeah, I don't know yet. I honestly don't know. I'm very precious about it right now. Right now, cul-de-sac really means a lot to me for no reason other than it was a very difficult project. Nothing to do with like Mike or bad idea or anything. It has to do with just the process of creating it. And because of that, I'm a little, you know, I don't know, attached to it just because of that. It was like a whole trial by fire thing. It's when you approach pages in that manner, you don't know how they're going to come out. So I don't know. It was just like a whole journey. So I haven't decided yet, to be honest. But we'll see.
Yeah. I think those would go real quick if they go up, man. I would have a hard time if I could draw like you, and I'd have a hard time getting rid of them as well. But if you do put them up, you better not mention it. Just throw it up because I mean, look at this, man. This is one of my favorite characters too.
Oh yeah. I love drawing him. I actually really love drawing him.
So
But
amazing.
yeah,
Incredible.
that was a fun page. That was
This is 5 right here, which is in stores today, actually.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I have all your covers. The one I'm a big fan of Tony Fleet, so I did get his cover when he did his wraparound.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, Tony's a good dude, man.
The mirror variants, they're very cool covers.
Yeah.
And then we had Mafu do a bunch of them too.
That's right. Yeah.
and we got my buddy Alex Pardee doing number 6.
Nice.
Which I am so thrilled about because Alex is really busy and everything. So I'm just happy he took the time to do it. Me and Alex have known each other a long time. We never get to work on anything. We're on different paths anymore. So I'm just happy to have him on a project we're both working on. It's nice.
When you look at like Cul-De-Sac's coming to an end, you're going to be getting probably some offers next year of, whatever. Is there a certain character that you would like to be part of, or a certain series that's out there right now that you're like, man, I would love to be part of that?
For the one thing that sticks out in my mind for the kid in me, because this all started with Todd McFarlane's Spider-Man, because I'd never seen a comic before that. The kid in me, I would like to draw one issue of Spider-Man with the big Todd McFarlane eyes, like not a normal Spider-Man. That's one thing I would want to do. Just one issue. I'm not interested, not a series. Like I want to do one issue like Todd, and that's it. Not draw like Todd, but with the big splash pages and the big eyes. That's the first thing that comes off the top of my head. I'm sure there's other things as well.
That would be phenomenal, to be quite honest. If you were to do that, bro, that would be pretty dope.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, I was a big X-Men fan as a kid. The whole Silvestri run and the early part of the Jim Lee run, but I really like the Silvestri stuff.
Yeah, Silvestri is so phenomenal, man. Steel is phenomenal. We call him the Gentle Giant, man. The guy's huge, but he's just like so calm all the time. I can't imagine really getting too worked up.
I think he's bigger than me, right? Because I'm 6'3". I think he's a little bit taller than me, right?
I've obviously met him a bunch of times. He's just tall to me because I'm like 5'10", but I think he's 6'7". Is what I'm told. Yeah, he's very, very tall, very tall. And you see him at the show, and he's always sitting behind the table, so you don't realize how tall he is. And then all of a sudden, he gets for a break, and everyone just goes like this as he gets up. It just keeps going and going and going.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's phenomenal. That Batman run that he did, the Batman Joker run that he did, is like I think it's a 8-part or 12-part series that he did for DC. I don't know if you've seen that, but he did the art, the writing, everything. Phenomenal, man.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
I thought the art was beautiful on that.
So good. Yeah, he's very talented as well.
Was he a baseball player too?
I don't think so. I know Todd was. Todd played in college.
Okay.
I believe he played. I might mess this up, but if I'm not mistaken, I thought he played like single A or something like that. He was scratching the surface of going pro, and he did pro at a very low level, and just realized that he didn't have what it took to take it to the next level. And at the same time, he was sending letters to Marvel and DC. He talks about this in an interview. He still has every rejection. He has over 300 rejection letters from publishers that he sent. He kept them all, and it kind of fed him. And so he kind of talks about that. A very aggressive way of trying to break in. And when he finally did, obviously we have talked, but yeah, it seemed to work out for him once it did. But it wasn't easy for him at all. Like it was very difficult to break in. And he still has, I think, a big shoebox with all the letters he's kept all these years.
Yeah, I think I have one official Marvel rejection from when I was a high school teenager. I just sent one in.
Who you sent it to? Can you share on who you
What?
sent it to? Like what
Oh,
publisher?
it was oh, that was for Marvel. It was a
Oh, for
Marvel.
Marvel.
Yeah, I was just some, idiot kid going like, I'm going to send them my samples, but they actually sent a letter. I
That's
mean, that's the only time they've ever sent me a letter. I've never gotten a letter again after that. I
now
mean,
you're in the industry. Send me another letter, man.
yeah, I mean, like all my submissions, like throughout the years, I maybe it's because it's the email era. The only one I have, well, I have one memory of a DC one where an editor got mad at me because they felt like my work was really inappropriate. Um, but I have another one from Fantagraphics where it was interesting because I was trying to get my art comics published, and it was a really nice letter, and it was like almost apologetic. They're like, we really like your work, blah blah. They're like, we have no idea what to do with you. And then that was it. And what I should have done is I should have kept chasing after them, but I didn't. um it's it's strange. I was always happy enough to do my own thing.
Yeah.
So all this other chasing publishers and all that, in all honesty, none of that interested me.
Yeah.
It was just like, if I did like my own book, nobody saw it. I didn't care. And if some kid came up to me and go like, should I have that attitude? I would tell that kid no.
Yeah.
But that was just my path.
Do you have a title that you've been sitting on for a long time of your own that one day you would love to publish?
I do.
You do.
Yeah, I have something that I just don't have time to work on it.
Got it.
I have my own thing that's been it's a short story that's been done for years now,
Wow.
and I just haven't put it out yet.
Really?
Because I'm trying to decide what to do with it. And what's funny about it is it's really stupid. It's really goofy. It's not like some like surreal artsy fartsy thing, or it's not some like violent thing. It's not some monster thing. It's like really stupid. And I enjoy it. I mean, I have a couple other projects in addition to that as well, but
Yeah.
that one's actually done.
Oh, wow.
I actually have a finished silkscreen poster that I had made to promote it years ago, and it's still sitting in a box because I'm just like, I can't put this out yet. Anyway,
You think you ever will, or will it always just kind of sit there?
I will. I just need to figure out what to do with it. It's one of these things. I'm normally not secretive about my work because I think that's stupid in this day and age. I think keeping secrets is, I think, just put things out there. But this one I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know why. It's dumb. So don't expect too much. It's more of a project that's fun to do.
I love it.
Like along the lines of like, you really like some goofy like 80s movie or 90s movie. It's not good, but you enjoy it. That's kind of how I would view this project.
Like, I have no idea obviously what it is, but you look at like an Army of Darkness. I love that. And that's one of the dumbest things I think I've ever watched. And I've watched it 100 times, man. Sometimes that kind of stuff, I don't know, man. I love that.
Yeah. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And I would love to put it out. I'd love to find time to put it out, but yeah, but I have other projects in the works as well. But that's the one that I bring up just because it's at least the short story aspect's totally been done. I just haven't put it out.
Yeah. One day, man.
One day.
Chris asked, by chance, is Crumb an influence?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Crumb. Where I was growing up, I grew up in a small town next to San Jose called Milpitas, which at the time, now if you say Milpitas, people know what it is. When I was growing up, even though it was next to San Jose, if you said that, a lot of people didn't know where it was. And anyway, so somebody in that small town had a collection of alternative comics and donated to the library. So when I'm like 10 or 11 years old, I was my initial exposure to comics was like Todd McFarlane, Sal Buscema. But all of a sudden, I was hit across the face with all this European Mobius, Bilal, and all this weirdness that was like next. And then, Dark Knight Returns. So I didn't have that phase where I like went through all these superhero comics, and I went from like one thing to like this other extreme
Yeah.
where I was, and then my first encounter with Crumb, I remember specifically because it was a cover. I think it was XYZ Comics or something, but it was a character with like really hard nipples, and this nerd character was squeezing the nipple and pulling it. And that was my first experience with Crumb, and it always stuck with me for whatever stupid reason. But Crumb's a genius. He
Yeah.
really is. Crumb. I mean, it's just I've never seen an artist just not care.
Yeah.
He just expressed himself, good or bad. And goes, if I'm going to get in trouble, okay. It's crazy.
And sometimes a guy goes, I don't know what to do with your stuff, Wayshak. I mean, this is amazing, but what do I do with this, right?
Yeah, well, it's different. Crumb, I don't know. I think it was satire. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Sometimes I wonder how much of it is satire.
exactly.
Um, but I love it. I love it when an artist will just um, go for broke. I love it when an artist just doesn't care what anybody thinks. Um, because it's hard to even get into that mindset, to be honest. It's hard to get in that mindset and just draw. But he was able to do it.
What is the, I mean, you feel like you are able to get to that place?
I don't know. It's not thought about. It's really not thought about that deeply. Probably like my sketchbook is
Hmm.
is like that most of all. Drawing comics, it's a little bit harder because comics have to be planned out. Everything else I do doesn't really have to be that planned out, which isn't great, especially working on illustration. But it allows me, even on like paid work, it allows me to like kind of go there and kind of express myself and do some weird things. But comics is really hard to do that because comics have to be planned out. It has to be legible as a story. Sequences have to make sense. Things need to lead into each other. And you can't really freestyle that. I actually tried some of that recently, and the pages worked, but they would have worked better if I didn't do that.
Hmm.
And that's a hard part with those kind of things.
Is it not as fun having a script and having to stick to that? Do you feel like limited?
No, no, I don't feel limited. This is more just like process stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just being an artist.
Hmm.
Um, the best way I can describe it is that Wally Wood strip, that
Hmm.
or that Wally Wood quote. I think Dan Clowes drew it,
Hmm.
where he's saying like, being a comic artist is like sentencing yourself to like 20 years hard labor, somewhere along those lines. And he goes, I ask myself if I would do it again, and I always say no. And that's always, I think that's the best way to describe making comics.
Yeah. Was Frazetta? Were you a big fan of Frank Frazetta's stuff or no? When he
Later
later on, yeah.
in college.
In
Um,
college.
um, at the time, not so much now. At the time, Frazetta was in an illustration, like hardcore illustration. Frazetta was looked down on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's that guy that does that titty fantasy art. That had nothing to do. I just never really. I'm not a big fantasy guy, so I just never really noticed. I mean, I knew who he was, and I thought the stuff was good. But when I was in college, I think at one point I was painting a lot. That's when I was struck by how brilliant he is because it's just really economic and really just simple and quick and powerful. I mean, that Death Dealer painting is one of the best illustrations of the past 100 years
Oh, man.
because just the technical skill level to do that Death Dealer painting is just like off the charts.
Really?
And that's always the one I always think because the horse is so loosely and expertly painted, and
Hmm.
then the chainmail's tight. I mean, him and when I was learning how to paint, like of course Bisley was huge for me, but him and then Jeffrey Jones. Like really learning how to paint Jeffrey Jones and Bisley were probably the most important for me when I was trying to learn,
Mm.
especially Bisley, because Bisley, I was able to initially teach myself how to paint because I didn't know how to paint at the time. I was able to figure out what Bisley was doing because I guess he would draw stuff. You'd see in some of his pages, he would draw stuff and kind of paint on top of it. I don't know. Bisley stuff just spoke to me where I was able to like kind of teach myself a really rudimentary level of painting.
Mm.
But like that Batman Judge Death book, I mean, Bisley was just off the charts. and then Jeff Jones was this whole other thing in this whole other direction, like you had like action movies and then you had art film, and then I was like looking at all that stuff. But I have a lot of my influencers are outside of comics,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. I know you're not a big fantasy guy or sword and sorcery, but if I ever had a wish, I would love to see you do at least one issue of Conan the Barbarian,
Yeah,
just hacking through all kinds of your crazy characters as he's going through Iberia or wherever he's at the moment. I think your art style would work so well within that comic book. It would be incredible. But that's just my selfishness of would love to see your art in a Conan.
yeah, well, I did a Conan pinup for Savage Sword
Savage
that
Sword,
came
yeah.
out this past year.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, Conan was hard for me. I love Conan, but oh my God, that was a hard piece for me to do. I don't know why either, because it's not like I don't like Conan, because like one
Yeah.
of my favorite things ever is Red Nails, that Barry Smith thing.
Yeah.
And John Buscema did some of his best work drawing Conan when he was like inking himself. I don't know what it is. I want another shot at Conan though, for sure. Um,
I hope. I mean, Jim Zub has nothing to do with that, but I have him on all the time. I would love, 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 love to see you do more. For sure, 100%.
I'd like to do it. I think if we did like maybe like a Conan Lovecraftian mashup, that might be fun.
Yeah, that would be dope, man.
Yeah.
That would be dope. And I would love to see some of the characters that you've created kind of fall in there, man, somehow, some way. Because Conan is constantly going through different parts of Iberia, and he's like, it's crazy the creatures that he will battle along the way make absolutely no sense. And some of the characters that you have in your sketchbook, I would love to see their heads come off or something like that with a sword. I think that would be so dope, man.
The problem with Conan for me personally, maybe
Yeah.
because I have such a clear idea of what it is,
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's any flex in the way Conan is portrayed. You know, um, the monsters you can kind of do your own thing. The girls you can kind of push in a certain way into like your own thing. But Conan, maybe I just have that Buscema like Barry Windsor Smith idea just so ingrained in my head. It's just I'm like Conan looks like that. And I can't go off and do this with Conan because Conan looks like that. And that's more of a mental thing, I think, with me.
I think so. I mean, obviously the Frank Frazetta Conan cover that he did on the Ace books back in the 50s or 60s, whenever it was. I actually have the book. I can't remember what year it was, but that's not the Conan that Robert E. Howard had in mind when he created. He's not a super muscular, like certainly Arnold Schwarzenegger is not what Conan was originally created to be. He just became that because of Frank Frazetta, because of the movie. And now you see him, and he's just giant and huge. And if you read the old Robert E. Howard stuff, that was never the intention. So I feel like you could do whatever you think Conan is, just like Frank did, and that
Maybe.
might become Conan, man. That'd be dope, man.
I think they just want steroids. I think it's just a steroid like mass monster at this point.
Yeah, yeah. Or
It's
just
it's almost it's almost
But-
become that's what barbarians are. Just these steroid freaks.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome, Wayshak. Well, Wayshak, I want to be super respectful of your time, man. I feel bad, man. It's like your only night that you don't have something going on, man. And here you are talking to me. But I love talking to you, bro. And I'm a big fan of your art. I think you're fabulous, man. And I cannot wait to see, especially on Spawn. Yeah. I mean, I know Thomas Healy's a big fan of yours as well. So if whatever comes up, I'm sure you'll have something to do with Spawn. The universe continues to expand, so there's going to be other stories, and yeah, I hope you get some more Spawn stuff.
Yeah, and since you're mentioning Spawn, I know you want to go.
No, yeah,
I'm gonna give
you want. I just want to
give
your time.
I just wanted to give a shout out to because the Violator thing was such a great experience in large part because of Mark Andrecco.
Yeah.
He wrote the book, and he writes the book in a way that allows me to make like big monster Violator pages and really put them, front and center.
Yeah.
So enough credit cannot go out to Mark for allowing me to do that. And I think it's because of that is why people responded well to the book. So I hope there's more Violator coming down the pipe. But we'll see what 2026. We'll see what comes for that year. Hopefully some fun things.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of cool things coming, and we'll be here and we'll be ready for it. I hope that you'll come back and share it when you're able to kind of talk to whatever you're working on for next year or whenever it gets announced and stuff. Love to have you back and get it pumped up. That way, if fans could get out there and get their hands on it. But I would love to see another Violator series too, man. You guys were one of the first titles to come out when Todd announced the expansion of the Spawn universe, right? It was there's like 3 different series that came out: Salmon Twitch, Violator. I can't remember the other one.
But you're Rat City?
Rat City, yeah, because they're already on issue 20. So
okay.
We're going on 2 years now of Rat City, which is crazy how fast that's gone. So yeah, you guys were one of the first teams to really take on kind of that expanded universe with Spawn. And it sounds like they're going to go another year of the expanded universe and then slow down a little bit and then revisit things that did really well. But Violator was really popular, so I could see another series of that for sure.
Cool. I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. As a fan, I would love that, bro. I would love to see that.
That's nice to hear, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm so far, I'm going to San Diego Comic-Con. So if you're there, I would love to see you in person, and I'll have a few things for you to sign, bro.
Cool. I'll be there in Artist Alley.
Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you, Wayshak. I'll let you get back to your night off, man. Thanks for hanging out with me, and you're always welcome, man.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, man. It was
You
fun.
bet. You bet, man. Hang tight. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Until next time, man, have a great holiday, and we will see you very soon. Thanks, everybody.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.